mean, maybe I guess he had a slight opportunity to come back at the end of the second at 5-3 maybe when I was serving for deuce, potentially, I'm not sure anymore. But then, obviously 2-0 in your first break, you feel like he's probably not going to, he's not going to be able to turn this match around anymore. I'm feeling too good now. I know I can bring my serves, when I need to. I got the rhythm. So then obviously, maybe I see, does the coming forward still work? I like coming forward when I'm up in the score and just try maintaining that. And if things don't work out that way, you always can play it safe again. So obviously it's tough for the opponent, trying to look for the rhythm as well, because I'm trying to break it at that point. But it's enjoyable, It's a great night for tennis. Not too much wind. Great opponent who was also ready to do some shot making, and I know since a long time. So it's obviously always going to be fair and tough and nice. But I enjoyed it, like I always do, in particular the night sessions here in New York.
Roger, I know you think you maybe have addressed on TV prior to the match, but with regard to Andy and his decision, you've always been a pretty gracious guy and wins the losses and even sympathetic to some of your opponents. What's your feeling about him retiring, and is there any shred of you that feels bad about denying him over the years, some, obviously the 09 Wimbledon and whatnot, chance to win more majors?
Well, look, you're always going to have someone around, I had many guys also deny me many things. That was the last thing that came to my mind when he told me he was going to retire, that I felt bad about it. I don't think that's what he wanted either. He was happy to go into retirement, but he wants to finish this one strong, and there's no rules on how you announce it, how you do it. We've seen so many different champions go out in different ways, so he chose to do it this way, and I'm so happy for him, really. He's had an amazing career. Some expected better, some expected worse, but I'm sure he's happy with what he achieved, because he almost achieved everything he ever wanted. Maybe that lose a Wimbledon title potentially, but let's forget about that. He was in those Wimbledon finals. He could have gotten that title, and that's what I said when I beat him in 09. He deserves his title as well. So in my mind, he is a Wimbledon champ as well, and a wonderful ambassador for the game. So I'm thankful for everything he's done for the game, and especially here for tennis in America. It's not been easy after Agassi and Sampras and Courier and Chang and Connors, McEnroe, you name it. I even probably forgot a bunch of them, because you guys have so many good players in the past. It's been hard for him as well at times, but I thought he always did the best he could, and that's all you can ask from a guy like Andy.
I was just going to say, tonight when you play somebody like Bjorn, who you played back in 1999 and lost to, and you look at the difference in your careers, do you ever take a moment to reflect on that? How you can lose to somebody and then you go on and have a career like you've had?
It is quite fascinating actually how careers go, and sometimes how juniors really don't matter. Even though I probably was a better junior than he was, but I wasn't as tough as a competitor back in the day. And I remember going to a future in Greece and spending some time with him there. I think we were both waiting for lucky losers at one point, and he got in, I didn't, because he was ahead of me in the rankings. And here we are on center court, at the US Open. It's quite amazing. I'm happy we both got the opportunity to experience something like we did tonight. Of course, I never believed that moment that I was going to become such a great player. I remember walking off practice course and telling my partner in practice, I'm sorry, I don't enjoy it right now. I have to stop because I'll just ruin your practice, instead of toughening it out and making a good practice for him at least. I was so weak right back then, and so it's just different times, look, and I'm happy I turned the corner at the right times, learned from my mistakes, and now I can enjoy it so much more, and I was able to make it on the big stage, and that I did react in time. I am very relieved that happened in my career.
Roger, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but the great American journalist who really helped popularize the game, Bud Collins, has been sort of off.
He's here. Be careful what you say.
I'm midway through my question.
Okay, you can't stop now.
Worse than that is one.
That's
Anyway, Bud's can you just recall some of your recollections of his work or contacts with him?
It's always been enjoyable to work with you. I mean, it's always had a smile, and he was really happy always to see me, I thought. And good questions, tough questions at times, but that's what you're supposed to be doing, right? And never had a bad moment. I don't recall one. So that's been... Well, exactly. Well, you still have some time to do it. I mean, this press conference is not over. So, no, I mean, really, I have only good things to say about Bud, and thanks for being part of such a great game and making it even more wonderful. Thank you.
Roger, Andy was asked about the comparison of you being 30 and being 30 and
31.
31, right.
Don't make me so young, okay?
I'm reading the transcript.
Okay, yeah.
So the question was posed as 30.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, I didn't want to make it through the press conference without a direct comparison to Roger, so thank you for that. Laughing about it. And then he said, if you look at my contemporaries that started with me, Roger's the only one that's still going strong. And pretty much he's right. And I just wonder what it's like to be at this phase of your career where, you're seeing those players that you were competing against, 10 years ago, 12 years, and they're dropping out of the game. And here you are playing as well as, from my point of view, you ever played.
Right. I mean, it's tough in some ways. I already was pretty sad about the moment when sort of Sampras, Agassi, Moya, all the great Spaniards we had in the game, Henman, you name them, all those guys, that I used to watch on TV, left the game. I was sad back then, I remember, because all of a sudden the guys from TV, they're gone. And you're only now playing your guys from your age. It's fun, but it's not the same. It's never going to be the same from them playing your heroes and idols and the people you looked up to on TV. But then I really started to enjoy, obviously, my generation. That one was an extremely strong one. I mean, there's still a ton around. Maybe not all those Grand Slam champions talking about. Safin obviously retired. Andy's on the way out. Ferrera's had some tough times with injury. Leighton the same. So Coria is not around anymore, and I mean Albanian's still around. So, but it's and then now Ljubicic also retired, for instance. So it's getting tough again. Eventually, I mean, I think we just had a record in Paris at the French Open where over 30 players made it into the main draw of the French Open. So that means it's great actually in some ways, but all of a sudden, also in the next couple of years now, they're going to probably drop like flies, So it's like, it's sad. That's how I felt when Andy told me. I was a bit sad, obviously, because that means maybe next year, it means now next year at the Australian Open, for instance, no Andy Roddick. And for me, basically, I've always gone there, and he was there, and he was preparing and practicing on center court, and so I'll miss those moments, and but it's how it goes, and that's why I have always had the fortunate luck to get excited about my generation, the previous one, the past one, the ones that are coming up now, being able to play for history books at times, having now always the chance of playing on center court, all those things keep me going. So when a few guys drop out of the game, I don't totally lose it. I am sad about it, but in a good way, because I know they're happy, and that's a good thing anyway.
Roger, if I could sort of bring you back to maybe an unpleasant moment last year here when you lost to Djokovic. And
it's not that unpleasant. It was a semis.
Right. you had match points in 2010. You had match points in 2011 when really you had the match more in your racket there. And I'm just wondering if in the end that loss was a positive for you.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes. Not right after the match point, and not 3 weeks later, but I felt. I played a great US Open. I thought I played a great Wimbledon as well. I played a great French Open. So I knew I was actually playing really good tennis. It was just not happening for me. And then the question is, can you just maintain a good level of play without getting frustrated, and wanting it too badly? I'm happy I had the right balance and was able to just stay put and keep working hard and hoping that things were going to turn around for me. Did I have to make some tweaks? Potentially. I don't even quite recall it, but I remember sitting down and talking to everyone involved and trying to come up with improvements and the plan, what tournaments to play, even though a lot was obviously in place. And I like to follow a plan and then only later on really reactive, things go really poorly. But things weren't going
Have you
awful
given
for
up
me.
on Davis Cup?
Say again?
Have you given up on Davis Cup?
No, not yet.
Looked like this year you could win it.
We can't win it this year. We lost to you guys.
Last two
You guys took us out at home.
Now, that's unpleasant. But anyway,
That's an unpleasant memory, right?
You're speaking of history and generations. I think you once said that of all the players you hadn't played, you would want to play Bjorn Borg. I don't know when I read
Well, I said many names, but Bjorn Borg, I'm sure, was part of that group.
Why, if that's the case, what would you find appealing about it?
Just, I mean, I thought he did a lot for the game, almost without wanting. He was just himself, and I mean, I remember him playing, really, but I had the chance to meet him, spend some time with him, and you could just see what an interesting character, an interesting player he was, and then obviously a bit of a myth, you know, him all of a sudden leaving so early, and that really makes him probably the legend he is today. For him leaving early, number one, but number two also just his incredible victories at Wimbledon, at the French, whereas particularly at Wimbledon nobody thought he would ever win, most likely was his playing style back in the day. It just goes to show how great he really was, and back then obviously he only, I think, went twice to Australia, and could have done so many more things if the focus was only the slams, you know. Not that the focus is only the slams now, but it's very driven by the slams. So for me, Bjorn was always a hero in many ways. Obviously, also working together with Peter Lundgren from Sweden back in the day. He told me so many stories about Bjorn, and some were funny, some were strange, and some were just incredibly fascinating, you know, and inspiring. So, yeah, so he's definitely one of those guys I maybe wouldn't want to play, but you want to just at least try to play against him.
Last English.
Yes, Roger. What are your thoughts on Kim's retirement, and what did she mean to you on a personal level, but also as a player?
Yeah, same thing, Kim. I go way back. God, I mean, I remember him in the juniors, under 16, under 14, maybe even. So she's only a couple of years younger, but obviously as a girl, you make it earlier. So yeah, we went through a lot at the same time. So I was very sad and really surprised when she retired the first time around, and so happy when she came back actually. And then the way she came back, and bang, she won the U.S. Open. She had a daughter, and now I can so much relate to her. And I guess it's easier to be a guy on tour, really. We can have kids while we're still playing. For the girls, it's a bit more complicated. So, but I think she's also totally at peace, and she looks happy, almost relieved to a degree. That's kind of how I see it right now. But what a great champion. I mean, she always had time for me as well. I mean, it goes without saying that we like each other, and that we always enjoy to see each other, and I always liked to follow her. She was a great athlete, great player, always friendly, and yeah, I'm happy she never turned bad just for success. She always stayed true to her character, and that's really what I enjoy in particular about Kim as well.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Good to see you. I'll see you around.
Roger, I just